We are here today to give a brief. We are here today to give a brief of what happened to one of our journalists, Zipporah Weru, where the DCI wanted to link up to the issue of investigations of one Raphael Tuju, that she's a person of interest. We did make an application to court for anticipatory bail. The judge, the learned judge, Justice Muya, got our application where we disclosed to the court that Zipporah Weru is a journalist, is one accredited by the Media Council. She actually is stationed at Milimani High Court. She covers stories of all those judges. She covers all the stories in all those magistrate courts where she is supposed to be taken to take. She covers stories in Kibera where Raphael Tuju was charged. And therefore, the courts know her, that she's a journalist. The prosecutors know her, that she's a journalist. And this, when we brought this attention to the learned judge granted her an anticipatory bail of Kenya shillings 200,000 shillings, which I confirm that has been paid. For now, Zipporah can enjoy her weekend. The whole of Easter. It is very dehumanizing when a journalist cannot be at her home, cannot be with her family, cannot enjoy going to church and pray to her Maker on Easter. That was a serious violation, and we shall be following that. But we are happy that now she's free, she can do her job, and you can see she's doing her job still at Milimani, and we'll pursue the other avenues as we promised. We still appeal to the Director of Criminal Investigation to withdraw that notice and to apologize to the journalists. As I said, this is an attack on the media. It's not an attack on one person called Zipporah Weru. It is an attack on the freedom of the media. Because if one journalist is isolated and targeted, then I call upon all journalists, and as I said, all organizations in the leadership of journalism to come and take up their rightful position. Because today is a Zipporah, tomorrow it will be any journalist in this country. And the history of targeting journalists has not started now. We must, as advocates, defenders of the rule of law, defenders of the Constitution, defenders of the freedom of the media, come up and defend Zipporah. Because if the police are left, they will go rogue. We sincerely thank the judiciary for coming to aid Zipporah, and we shall keep updating the public every progress of this matter. We intend to file the other matters on Monday. We shall again update the country, the status of Zipporah Weru, because Zipporah Weru cannot be a person of interest while on duty as a journalist. If it was outside her journalism work, then that can be an issue that the DCI can follow. But if she was discharging her lawfully constitutional mandate as a journalist, accredited, there can never be any victimization against a journalist who is on duty. Zipporah was on duty in Tuju's place. Journalists have no fixed place to cover stories from. They go where news is available. They will be in my house now if news is there. They'll go to the DCI headquarters if news is there. They'll go to Tuju's office if news is there. They'll go to current police station if news is there. So Zipporah was on duty, and anybody trying to victimize Zipporah, that she was supposed to be in her employer's premises, that is wrong. The journalists have no territorial jurisdiction. They are journalists at night, they are journalists during the day, they are journalists at any time news breaks. And that is why they will always break news as the news comes in. Zipporah got information, and as a diligent journalist, she rushed to cover that story about Tuju. If anybody is asking why she was there at that time, it can only be her family members, not the police. That is her job description. Journalists don't have working hours because they do not create news, they report news as they unfold. And therefore, I hope this one settles to the DCI that the journalists work 24 hours and they can never disclose the source of their information. The source of the news is protected by law. If the police want to look for Zipporah to give them the information, they will not get that one. Because the journalists, under their code and under the law and under the constitutional provisions, they cannot disclose to the DCI who told Zipporah that there was a kidnap. We hope that sounds as a warning to the police to leave Zipporah alone, leave journalists alone, let them do their stuff the way the journalists have left you to do your stuff as police officers. Thank you. As I shika kamera yako.